Hello everyone and welcome back. Today, we're diving deep into the life of one of the most notorious figures in American history, Al Capone. He was a mobster, a bootlegger, and a symbol of the Prohibition era. In this video, we'll uncover some interesting and lesser-known facts about this infamous gangster. But before we get into the juicy details, let's start with a brief overview of Al Capone's life. Al Capone was born on January 17, 1899, in Brooklyn, New York, to Italian immigrant parents. His full name was Alphonse Gabriel Capone. Growing up in a tough neighborhood, he quickly got involved in criminal activities, which eventually led him to Chicago. Chicago, in the 1920s, was a city in the throes of Prohibition. This was a time when the sale and consumption of alcohol were illegal, but that didn't stop people from drinking. Enter Al Capone. Capone took advantage of the demand for alcohol and established a vast criminal empire involved in bootlegging, gambling, and various other illicit activities. He quickly became one of the most powerful figures in the Chicago underworld. Al Capone's nickname was Scarface. He earned this moniker due to the distinctive scars on his face. These scars resulted from a knife attack in his youth during a bar brawl. Capone hated this nickname and preferred to be called Big Al. Despite his criminal activities, Capone had a surprising side. During the Great Depression, he opened a series of soup kitchens to help the needy. This earned him some public support and even a bit of positive press. It's important to note that this charitable side of Capone didn't diminish the brutality of his criminal empire. One of the most famous moments in Capone's life was when Geraldo Rivera, a television journalist, hosted a live 2-hour special in 1986 called The Mystery of Al Capone's Vaults. The show promised to reveal hidden treasures from Capone's secret vault. Millions tuned in, but when the vault was finally opened, it turned out to be empty. It was a major disappointment, but it added another layer of mystique to Capone's legend. Al Capone had a deep love for baseball. He was known to be an avid fan of the sport and often attended Chicago Cubs games. In fact, he even had his own private box at Wrigley Field. Capone's passion for baseball served as a surprising contrast to his criminal image. One of the most infamous events associated with Al Capone is the St. Valentine's Day Massacre in 1929. It was a brutal gangland slaying in Chicago, where 7 members of a rival gang were lined up against a wall and executed. Although Capone was widely suspected to be behind it, he was never officially charged. Al Capone's downfall came not from his criminal activities, but from something far less glamorous: tax evasion. In 1931, he was convicted of income tax evasion and sentenced to 11 years in federal prison. This was a significant moment in the fight against organized crime, as it showed that even the most powerful criminals could be brought to justice through legal means. As we wrap up this journey through Al Capone's life, it's essential to remember that he was a complex figure who left an indelible mark on American history. His story continues to captivate people to this day. Whether it's the intrigue of his criminal empire, his unexpected acts of charity, or the ultimate downfall that led to his imprisonment, Al Capone's life is filled with fascinating twists and turns. After being convicted of tax evasion, Al Capone was sent to the notorious Alcatraz federal penitentiary. His time on The Rock, as it was known, was filled with restrictions and isolation. It marked the end of his criminal career, as he spent nearly 8 years there. Al Capone had an interesting family dynamic. His younger brother, Ralph Bottles Capone, also joined him in the criminal world. However, Ralph chose to operate more low-key than Al and was often involved in legal businesses. Despite their shared criminal ties, they had a complicated relationship. Toward the end of his life, Al Capone suffered from syphilis, a sexually transmitted disease that went untreated for years. This condition led to significant health issues, including mental deterioration. It's believed that his later years were marked by confusion and a diminished capacity. Thank you for joining us on this exploration of Al Capone's life and some lesser-known facts about the man behind the legend. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more intriguing historical content. Remember, history is full of fascinating stories, and we'll be here to uncover them. Until next time, stay curious.